back. The pie chart on the pie
No,
chart.
yeah, I'm with you.
Pie
Yes,
chart
sir.
on the very back, the blue is an output of the water treatment plant, and then the red is our purchased water for Pigeon Forge. So that visually puts it, but Cindy's right, now this was previous fiscal year here, but it kind of swells up to about 20% or just less than 20% of our overall water sales is Pigeon Forge water. Was that your question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the Robert, where is the handout on the spreadsheet that's in the agenda package? Did you have that?
Yeah, I think, did I get this? I get this.
I guess my question is I didn't think that we used that much when you said 29%. So what I was saying is, why were we paying 29% when we're only using, I was thinking like 15 or 20. That was why we paying more when we're not using that much.
Well, the
infrastructure.
proposed expansion is to address a need that's been identified in some studies. Okay, really a very simple
It's for
study.
future growth.
For future growth.
So, yeah.
And it's about, and it equates to, Dale, Robert, it equates to about a little over 1 million gallons. The projected need over 20 years is a little over
Yes.
additional 1 million gallons daily. Okay, right?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Of water needs to deal with the growth in town. So now that, hopefully, that makes some sense, let me move into the items that are on the agenda this evening and the reason that we have retained Evans firm to help us. So now we move into talking about the ARPA money, okay? Which is commonly referred to as the Biden bucks. So TDEC got a ton of money out of the last round, and out of that then comes the situation with the resolutions tonight. So each government throughout the state, based on a per capita deal, has been identified as to how much money will be received in this next round of ARPA funding. Okay, now this is the second time for us to get ARPA money. We got it last year, 2 fiscal years ago, and then again this past fiscal year, when it in 2 different
Yeah,
segments.
we got half last fiscal year, supposed to get the other half this January.
Okay, and all of that has been dedicated to the sewer plant expansion project, and that amount
That's
is,
about $1.04 million. We got half of it last year, and we got the other half next year.
okay. So all that has already been earmarked, committed to the sewer plant expansion project, okay. This amount of money is how much in
It's
this bucket?
$832,000 roughly, and it's gonna be handled, again, in 2 different type of expenditures, so.
Okay, well, let's just stick with the Douglas Lake
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
So, did you have something that you and Evan were gonna hand out
Yeah,
associated
he's got,
with the?
he's got something, this is the spreadsheet, and I think we'll probably need this too, but this spreadsheet is identical to what he has, this has a little bit, this has that calculation on it too, so. how it's
Well, this
divided
is
up.
what is in their agenda package attached to the
Yes.
resolutions.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
yeah, it is, that's in there. Should be. And then, Evan, that top sheet. Evan.
So the allocation for us is $832,691.85, okay? Even though it is a specified allocation to us, unlike the money we just talked about that we're earmarking toward the sewer plant expansion project, that was basically, I don't think an application or anything had to be submitted on that. The money was just, so, based upon, but this bucket of money requires an application, okay? So that's where Evan and his company enters the scene, is to help us navigate this process of applying for money that's already been earmarked for us, but we have to go through this application process. The application deadline is November 1. which is why we're coming to you this evening with these items. So that we could, have plenty of time to put together an application. Now, from there, where do I need to go, Evan and Robert, in my conversation? Do you want to review this sheet next that you handed out?
Well, we can, Evan can talk about that part of it. I will say this, it might be prudent to say that we do have RFQs out for engineers, to handle the other, like, there's two parts of money. There's a part that's part of the collaborative portion, the collaborative project, and there'll be money left over for Gatlinburg specific purposes, and we have an RFQ out right now to be open on the 20th to be able to deal with that.
And that amount that he's referring to, that we will also have to apply for, that would just be strictly for projects here in our city, is $403,665.
Yeah.
That's what that figure is down there.
And that's
You
why
see
we
what-
have two resolutions, so.
You see the total allocation, and then the transfer to Pigeon Forge to participate in the collaborative project.
All this money is supposed to be coming sometime in January, you said?
No, that's he's talking
No,
about
that's
something,
something
That was the
that's the,
previous one
Okay.
that they just gave us.
So is this money here now?
no, we have to apply for it,
Okay.
yeah,
It's available, it's gotta be applied for,
it's gotta be applied for.
it's at the state.
I'm a little slow right now.
I understand totally, me
So out of the
too.
1.8 million project cost, how did we get to the 832 again on the Gallenberg?
The 832 has nothing to do with that, Chad.
Okay.
The 832 is strictly the identified amount that we would get no matter what we were doing.
Cindy, let Evan hand out
Okay.
that top sheet, that'll explain that amount.
Yeah.
Okay.
This may help some to, and I know Cindy, you've seen this.
Yeah.
That's
And
just
Sure.
The second one is gonna be a duplicate of what you
Yeah.
already have.
Yeah.
That'll be-
You know, it's, I've been in a bunch of these meetings over the last few months, and
Thank you.
it certainly is a very confusing process, because there's so many different pots of money. And as Cindy was saying, you know, you all have your direct allocation of funds, which half of it's already in the bank, the other half is coming early next year.
Which has nothing to do,
Yeah, totally separate distribution.
yeah.
Totally separate, so you all can spend those funds, you didn't have to apply for them. My understanding is you're pumping those funds into the wastewater plant project, all's well and good and done with what I call the top blue box. That's, you know, that's
Okay.
the amount of
Okay.
money in the top blue box that we call direct allocation. So Gatlinburg got about 1.1, Pigeon Forge about 1.8, Pittman Center, so on and so forth. Those funds could be used for a number of different purposes, not just water, wastewater. It could be used essentially for government services. That was for each community to determine what their actual needs were. So that was direct fund. Now, the state of Tennessee got $3.9 billion of funding, just like Gatlinburg got money, just like Sevier County, just like every city and county in the country. The state got money too. So they're taking about 1.3 billion, and they've decided, the state of Tennessee, and they're putting it into TDEC for water, wastewater, and stormwater purposes only. That's the lower portion box here, is the TDEC money. And so TDEC has taken $1 billion, and they're getting it out to all of the municipalities that own water, wastewater, or stormwater systems, and counties. They've divvied that $1 billion up based on population and need and so forth, ability to pay. And they're having a non-competitive grant program, meaning you all are earmarked, as you can see, for $832,000-ish. That means that money's there for Gatlinburg. You have to apply for it, but it's pretty much guaranteed to Gatlinburg as long as you're fulfilling their needs and interests in the application process. So it's non-competitive money, different than when we're going after other grants and we're having to compete to get the money against every other community in the state that applies at the time. So those are the funds that we are now having to embark on applications, as was mentioned, that are due November 1st. And that time is ticking. So that's what the resolutions are about tonight. I'll jump back maybe, unless there's any specific questions about that. I'm happy to kind of jump back to the other spreadsheet that Robert handed out that kind of deals with what we're
Chad,
calling
you have a question?
the TDEC.
What is it gonna be our direct cost to us in this right now?
Well, the direct
That's
cost,
gonna be coming out of our cash flow and out of our savings,
no,
nothing,
no,
right?
it comes out of the allocation.
Out of all the allocations.
Yes.
So it doesn't, we get it.
Well,
we
I
get
think
it.
there's a match of
There is a
85,
match.
there's a match of 85,000.
Right.
That's
which
it.
is- Okay, that's what I was. Okay,
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah, yeah. This is strictly about the TDEC
And
bucket
spending
of
the money.
money and us getting our fair share of it.
And put it to use where it
Yes.
needs to be used across the county.
Yes,
So,
yes,
all right.
yes, sir.
So what I'd say about this other spreadsheet is the way this application process works is, as Cindy mentioned, there is a collaborative application and there is a non-collaborative application. And the collaborative application is intended for projects such as the intake project and parallel line, where more than one entity are working together, collaborating on a project. Everybody, each of the partners are putting something at stake, financially involved into the project, and there's a shared purpose. So that's what the intake project is a shared goal, shared purpose, shared finances. And as this spreadsheet will delineate, the approach on the intake project is to use the TDEC money to cover what's called the planning and design elements of the project. So in other words, TDEC doesn't want you to just jump right into, hey, let's go, ask for construction money that's gonna come much later on. They want you to plan things out on the front end. And so it is eligible to request their money, that's the proposal, to have Sevier County, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg collectively work together to pool the costs for a planning and design project that would help to engineer that particular project and get everything ready to go to bid, so that you've got all the preliminary work out of the way with what I'd call the phase one planning and design project.
Which is the 1,802,000 that's on the
That is
spreadsheet.
correct. The
What he
top-
just talked
top
about.
left. Top left is
City of Sevier don't use this at all, do
They were, see, there have been, and I said, there were two phases to the existing Douglas Lake system. The very first construction, there was an expansion in it's 92, probably, I'm gonna guess 2005, mid-2000s, 2002 to 2005, okay? And they were participants. Now, it was like 6%. To our understanding on this, what would be considered phase 3 expansion of the Douglas Lake system, they are not.
So it's only gonna be Galvin and Pigeon Forge, is that why?
Now in Sevier County,
Well, then why is Sevier County not paying a match under the project cost contribution summary?
so.
you know, I asked that same question.
That's a
Why
good
is Sevier
question.
County not paying a match?
That's a good question. So the answer to that is, you all would be using your TDEC ARPA money that requires a match. Pigeon Forge would be using their TDEC ARPA money, which requires
The
a match.
county's not using
The
it.
county is gonna use their direct allocation, their blue box money,
Ah,
to cover their share. So their share collectively is gonna still be, if you look above, the 11.07% is the Sevier County share of what's needed from them. Their share basically is coming out of their direct allocation, where both cities. yeah,
We're paying it out of our cash flow, out of our savings.
You're
They're
paying
not.
out of.
no. Well, the
The
match.
The match is
Yeah,
what I'm talking
yeah.
about, and they're not, they're using it, they're taking it straight out. of
That's
their
exactly-
money.
They're taking, this is a great, the blue box money that they got, they're taking 200 grand out of their blue box money, and putting straight into this. I asked this the other day and I don't think
Why
we
are
ever
we
got,
not using that for 85,000? Where are we, for our match?
where will we get that?
No, I'm saying, yeah, why can't we just pull just like the county?
Because
does?
we dedicated all of our money to the sewer plant expansion project.
Gotcha.
It's already
So we,
earmarked.
so
It's-
we already earmarked it, so we
Yes.
we must do
Yeah,
this then?
yeah.
There's nothing around it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So that, so that's the collaborative project. Now, when entities are collaborating on a project that are all eligible for TDEC, the lower box, yellow or green box money, an application has to be submitted. So the collaborating partners have to select a lead applicant to be the entity to prepare and submit the application on behalf of all the partners. What was decided upon at, one of the recent water board meetings, is Pigeon Forge has the largest ownership stake of that, so it made sense for them to be the lead applicant, for the collaborative project. And, but what happens in a situation like that is the money needs to essentially transfer from one entity to another in order to make that application whole. So we're doing a number of these where communities are transferring whatever share might be needed on a particular project to a lead applicant on that's another entity. So essentially, one of the resolutions tonight is doing just that. It's transferring a portion, and technically it's the $429,000 portion of your all's City of Gatlinburg's TDEC ARPA money to the City of Pigeon Forge for the specific purpose of that collaborative project. And that way, Pigeon Forge pools all the money, and we do. And I'm working with them. We do that. I do that application on behalf of all the partners, but Pigeon Forge is the lead applicant, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
And by the way, Pigeon Forge gets all of their water out of Douglas Lake now. When the Walden's Creek, line stopped for better, that's not I think it had to be stopped. Anyway, they started, and that's been, how many years would you say that's been Dell, that they've been getting all their water out of Douglas?
10, 12 years at least, or
15,
more.
15.
Going on 15 or so. They
Yeah.
just quit utilizing the Walton Creek intake, as you said.
Well,
Various
it was, well, low flow,
Yeah.
sediment,
Yes,
hard to treat,
yes.
different things like that, so. As it relates to the remaining 403, 665, did somebody have a breakdown of what, Robert, we're talking about
Yeah, we have.
in the RFQ?
Yeah, the RFQ, there are four different possibilities that we identified, and it'll be based on cost. But one of them is Dale, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but a GPS data collection and GIS water system mapping services. I think we have most of our sewer pipes mapped, but still looking to do some water.
Correct.
Water treatment plant engineering assessment, water loss management and leak detection services, and then a digital water model update and other related services. So those are
Right.
four things that we identified as.
We might
Use.
explain
Yeah,
how
yeah.
we ended up with those.
Yeah, I think that's a good
I
lead
think that
in.
would be helpful.
Yeah.
That,
Kinda quickly.
yeah, I'll run through it, because when TDEC got this money out there, they didn't just want to throw the money and have the communities and utilities putting projects in that they thought they were
Do
needed.
actual work
They have
that
a
needs to be
process to evaluate each and every utility. And you all had to complete what's called an infrastructure scorecard. Every utility, in order to be able to apply for these funds, you have to complete the scorecard. The scorecard, a lot of data goes into filling that out. You all got that complete. It's financial data, system data, so on and so forth. And it kind of spits out a summary of results of what some critical areas might be. And some of the things that got flagged, per se, as critical areas are these things that you all would be addressing in the items that Robert mentioned. It flagged GIS mapping, it flagged the water treatment plant at being 80% capacity. Obviously, the intake project has a big impact on that, but the thought was, that would be good to do a study of the plant as well, and other related services with the water system.
Call it highlighted
So-
instead of flagged.
Yeah.
Right, well,
Highlighted areas.
highlighted areas.
It kind of points us to.
points you
And
to-
may I suggest this, that we would come back to, the commission, at the, October 18, and that the date 18, October 18 meeting. I think at that point, we can be pretty specific with them about what we are going to apply for. I know I just put y'all on the spot, but can we do that by October 18?
I personally hope so, because with the
Well,
due
yeah,
date
with
of
the
November
deadline
1st,
November
yeah,
1.
We would have to.
we would have to be embarked on a
When
pretty
are,
good
when are
plan.
the RFQs due?
September the 20th, RFQs are due.
Yeah, so that,
Okay,
let us do that. Let us come, and if it's not exactly on October 18, we will get information back to you to let you know specifically what the application looks like. Okay?
Okay.
On the,
Who's handling that?
400.
Dennis Clabo?
Pardon?
Is Dennis Clabo handling that application for Pigeon Forge, all of us?
The collaborative, basically, Evans
Oh,
group
you're gonna
be-
is, but I'm
I'll be
sure he'll be
doing-
dealing a lot with Dennis
Okay.
Clayton,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Now, the other money, Chad, we'll be doing ourselves with,
With
Evans Consulting. Okay. It's a lot, and it's a really important, project and conversation, and, appreciate the time to have it with you all. Do you all have any questions?
I think there's $1 billion out there that was given away, and we got 6.5 million for the county on 100,000 percentage with 95 counties. Probably not bad based on 100,000.
Well, now, it's more than that for the county, isn't it, Evan?
The county is.
Oh, 19 million.
Well, the 19 million is the county's direct, just like, they've already got that in the bank, just like you all have your direct. The county is eligible for this TDEC water wastewater money of about 6.4 million.
Yeah.
And that could be shared, to other utilities, that can be used for the county, water, a lot of different purposes there.
Okay.
Great.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions or comments? Appreciate your time, allowing us to do this, and that's what we have for the workshop.
Good deal.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.